Me, everyone should be able to see me as well. I'm here with my right hand man, or am I your right hand man? I'm unsure these days, man.
You're hosting, so I guess I got to be your right hand man when I host. My right hand.
That's what's up. So, we're here again. We're at the Addict Show where we talk about all about gaming. Got King in here because I know you guys like to hear him rant. And shout out to King. So first off, King, what are you playing, man? Like I know you be over there. I saw the MLB. And we'll definitely talk about that. But what have you been playing?
I've been playing MLB The Show. Oh my God, I'm playing that in Outriders. Really grinding my gear in Outriders. Is a little nuances. A lot of people play the surface of games and they don't get into the nuances of the game. And there are a ton of nuances to the game. A lot of you guys don't know what your attributes are. and what are you breaking down stuff for and stuff like that. So right now I'm exploring my build. I can do up to 160 million damage so far. That's where I'm at. So I'm right now soloing tier 12 expeditions. It's a really cool thing. I'm trying to get up to tier 15 expeditions, but MLB The Show. I started off as the Yankees. Yankees is my team, and I'm really gonna play a season this time. This time I'm gonna commit myself to playing the season, the whole 162 games, and hopefully I can get to the playoffs. So.
This seems like a lot, man. Like, I've always liked the concept behind sports games where you trade people off, you fight your way up the league, but I've never got into them because I just don't watch sports, so I can't really.
It's like an RPG though.
It is, but it's not the same. It's like I'm not hitting people with swords. I'm hitting a ball with a baseball bat.
Yeah, or you dribbling and shooting balls in the hoop. It's the same premise of an RPG in the fact that you're managing a team. It's really deep. A lot of these basketball games, it's not like Double Dribble back in the days or NBA Jam. It's really deep. And you have to, work with personalities and stuff like that. Some dudes are disgruntled on teams and want to be traded.
Yeah, I've always noticed how cool it is, that kind of concept. I don't really know a whole lot about sports, but I do, I know like the key players that people complain about every year, like LeBron, Tom Brady. So like I see those, but as far as like the game, like logistically, I know zero about. But you know what I've been playing, King? I've been playing that Octopath Traveler. What is that in, King? What is that in?
Well, it's in Game Pass. I purchased that game on Switch. Never thought it would come to Game Pass, and Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer surprises us every day and put that game in Game Pass, and I could have saved myself my $60 or whatever I paid for the game to play it in Game Pass. So yeah, it's a real good game though. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I'm like 15, 20 hours into it, and like, see, I get obsessed when it comes to being OP. I want the best gear. I want the best armor, and I love the mechanics in this game because you could just pop up to anyone. Popped up to the chick buying some groceries for dinner that night. Be like, yo, what you got for sale? Mm-hmm. And then you look at it, it's like, oh, you got this knife. I ain't seen this knife. I want this knife. It's $34,000. Like.
Yeah. So in that game is 5 to 6 characters that you can pick from in the beginning.
I feel like I got 6 characters, and there's still 2 left I haven't unlocked, so there's 8.
Right.
Yes.
So there's potentially a ton of different endings, right? With a ton of different.
I don't know. I just finally started doing the second mission because I got so obsessed. I'm level like 35.
Are you serious?
In chapter 1.
What the hell was you doing?
Because it's so open. You can go really anywhere you want to for the most part. Like, there are certain areas that I think that unlock the longer the game goes. Right. But like, I'm just sitting here grinding it, and I was in a party with Cognito and them last night, and I'm just sitting here like blind grinding, and like, because I got tired of getting killed because the experience is kind of weird. So I'm just sitting there like, all right. So then I look and I'm like, I need to level up. So, I had to do that Google. Did that Google. I was like, where's the best place to level up the level I'm at? And they tell me this place. So I'm like, I'll go there. And they're I didn't read all of it. Read everything when you read guides. But so I'm sitting there looking at it. So they're like, well, these people hit a little hard. So I'm like, they hit a little hard. They ain't gonna kill me. Dude one-shotted me.
Word.
So I'm like, man, I'm sitting there and I look and I'm like, oh, they want me to be level 28 and I'm 21. So like, and then the I can't quit person in me was like, nah, I can take these people. Like, nah, that 8 level gap is nothing. And I sat there and I grinded differently for like an hour, and I finally started beating them. And then I started like grinding. I started going up like a level or 2 every time I won a battle. But I think it's unique. I think there's a lot of concepts in that game that could have been really evolved. Mm-hmm. $60 definitely wasn't worth it though. Like, well,
it's free now, so you didn't pay anything. So it's definitely worth the price of admission. And to be honest with you, for it to have consumed you in this manner, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just like, it's just little things. Like I don't like the fact that there's multiple characters, because like it sounded cool at first, but when you go to like these other levels and you do them, they don't even acknowledge the other people with you. It's like they're not there, and I'm just like, you might as well just had one character, and then they go through the rest of the game.
So it's not like these people. It's not like what we was playing on Outer Worlds. No, you go places and the characters get a chance to interact and talk, and the
only people. Now, I don't know. Maybe after you do all their missions, then maybe there's like a main mission that incorporates them all, because these are their origin stories. I don't expect their origin stories to be there, but literally, I remember this part, King. I was doing this. I was fighting this juggalo dude pretty much, and he's sitting on top of his. It's the dancer's main villain for her origin. He's like, "You're all alone," and I'm like, "No, I got 2 people with me. I'm not all alone." Like, so like stuff like that took me out of the experience a little bit.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they didn't acknowledge the fact that you have people.
All right, so let's move on to MLB the show. Clearly, there's been a lot of stuff going on with MLB. MLB is finally in people's hands. Lord King, how long have you played MLB?
Okay, so I didn't really play too long. I was playing the Yankees versus the Dodgers, and I got a game in. And well, I didn't start my season yet because I want to start my season fresh. I just played an exhibition game, and I feel that to get the best out of these games, you start a fresh season. You start off from the beginning, and they have a lot of little cut scenes and stuff. You get a chance to have either a broadcast view or the show view, or a hybrid of the two. And it's graphically, I already told people it's the best baseball game that you're ever gonna see.
It does. I was seeing Cognito. He kept posting because I went to bed, but all since I went in there and started watching some show called Snowfall that people won't shut up about on Twitter. Oh, so I'm watching. That's good. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So I'm watching this, and then every time, because I have you and Cog belled, so every time you post something that pops up, I see Cog post. I'm like, I already know this is MLB. I don't even need to click this, but obviously I clicked it. It was clips from MLB, and I think that the reason this is so big, people like myself, I don't care. I probably will play a couple games because I used to play baseball when I was a kid. I was in the little minor league things up until I was like 13 or 14, but then I shattered my ankle and it's just never been the right since. So I'm sitting here and I know, and I have to hand my hat off to what's his name? Phil. What?
Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer.
Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer went over there to Sony. Not only did he say, "Yo, we need that baseball game. We need that baseball game better than what you are getting that baseball game for." And I got that is literally walking into someone's house and be like, "I want this house." Like, you can't have this house. He comes back 6 months later. This is my house. Like,
it's absolutely wild. Like when I booted it up and the Sony logo comes up, I have my Xbox controller, and I know it's like, I can't wait for Digital Foundry to come out with their if it's in 4K or whatever, if it's native 4K or whatever. I just want to see the side by side comparisons. But he did it, man. He got their first party studio game day and date on his platform and not in their platform. That's monumentous. That's something totally otherworldly.
I don't think you can do anything more gangster than that. Like
I told you, he's a Bond villain now. I don't care what no one says. Everybody can say whatever. Anybody that sat there and said he's the nicest guy in the world and he likes to kiss babies and shake hamsters and all this other crap, I don't care what you say. For him to have your flagship sports title that has only been on your console for its entire inception to now, his conception to inception to here, and for it to only be there, and for it to make its debut on your service for whoever is in your service for free, because Game Pass paid for itself already so far for me this year. So for free, every baseball fan should jump up and down. And if you love baseball and baseball season is right now and is going and you don't get a chance to go out to the games, I'm telling you, this game looks second to none. And no more. He literally took the reason, if you was a baseball fan, that you was waiting to get a PlayStation 5 or you was trying to get a PlayStation, he took it out of your hands. You don't have to worry no more. You don't have to spend that $500-$600 plus the game to play baseball. And that was what Sovereign was doing for years. He would get a PlayStation just to get MLB to show.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I'm not a sports person. I have nothing in the sports race, but it's just like, why is a baseball game exclusive in the first place? Like, and I feel like MLB realized that in the end. They're like, look, we got to make money. He's like, let's put this everywhere we can. If Sony got an issue with it, we'll just give the license to EA. So I think Sony was in a predicament. Now I think Sony eventually accepted the fact that this game was coming everywhere. But I think Microsoft came in there in the back end. It was like, not only do we want it on Xbox, and they handed the bag. It's like, we want it on Game Pass. It's dropped it in MLB's hands. And because I'm pretty sure Sony's a little salty over that. Just a little bit.
Not a little bit. That's terrible. That's the worst look that you can ever have. Could you imagine if Gears dropped in PlayStation Now and not inside Game Pass? Gears, because this is the equivalent of Gears.
I don't think it's exactly the equivalent of Gears, but
for sports, dude. This is Gears.
Yeah, it is, but I don't think like in the realm. It's
okay. What is it? Forza?
Gears. I think Forza would be a better analogy. Okay, so and I don't even think Forza is a good analogy because like it's a sports game that is loved by a lot of people.
Yeah, but Forza is a sports game.
And so I can understand. I think that would be a better analogy than Gears, but it's Forza Horizon 4 or 5.
No, see, but you're under.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Baseball game, man.
Let me finish. Forza Horizon 5 comes out, and there's a scenario where it was on PlayStation Plus, but not Xbox, not Game Pass. It wouldn't even be around because Xbox would never allow that to happen. If something happened where they lost the franchise, it was on everything, and they heard Sony was putting it on PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus, I'm confident that Phil would be on that phone. He'd be like, "Put that in Game Pass right now, not yesterday, right now." Like,
I don't know why Jim Dance Moves Ryan didn't do it. I don't know.
They wanted that money, man.
But they're going to get the money anyway. See, this is the problem. In that philosophy, this is where the problem is. Then you don't believe in your product. That's all. You don't believe in your product. Because once somebody get a taste of your product for free, they're going to want to pay for it. Regardless to what. It's just very simple. If it's a good product, you believe in your product, you put your product out there, let the people sample your product, and they love it, they will come back for more.
I think what it is Sony, they're making money off of that, so they don't want to they don't want to exchange the money they're going to make it a good portion of, because it wouldn't be cheap. They have access to that, but they're kissing some of the profits that they're going to be making from the game.
They're not going to kiss anything away.
And I think that's the reason they didn't put that on PlayStation Plus, because they want all that money.
PlayStation Now and residuals for people that are constantly coming back and forth. That's the problem with their business model. Their business model is too archaic. It is too old. It's too last gen. It's too Stone Ages.
I'll agree with you there. It definitely is. I felt, we see it now. We see, services like Game Pass that's making Sony look bad, and it's not even directly. It's indirectly. Like, you're snatching MLB. It's making Sony look like their own stuff's going on Game Pass, and then obviously a lot of people aren't gonna, they're gonna just have the assumption like, if they're willing to let MLB jump in Game Pass, what's next? Like, what else are they not going to stop from coming to Game Pass? Like, right now, they don't... It's a misconstruction. It is a very bad thing that people feel... people feel like Sony owns the Spider-Man license for the game. They don't. They own the movie license, and they lease the Spider-Man license. How do we know in the next game... whenever their title ends, their contract, Marvel hits them up with, I want it everywhere. Like, is Sony just gonna let it go like that? Because they don't technically own it. That's what I mean. Like,
what they gonna do?
My thing is, this is how I see it.
What if they make Insomniac? yo, what if Disney does the same exact thing that MLB did and does the same exact thing, and now you got to have that Spider-Man, and then it's coming date and date.
Do you think that's something that's possible though?
Yes, and is it totally in the realm of we never thought this baseball thing is in the realm of the possibility. We know now that anything's possible, and anything's possible when you don't own something outright. Now, a lot of people are saying that, oh, God of War never come. This is a scenario I can give you, right? God of War is not making any more money now. It's an old IP. Let's say it's an old the first one. The last one, 5 or whatever the hell it is, right? And it comes out on PC. It sells whatever it sells on PC. They're up to God of War 3. Why not put it on Xbox? So why not get that Xbox money?
So you're saying that Sony will see the money they're making off Game Pass and they'll say, you know what, we made this money off MLB. Why not God of War? Is that what you're saying?
I'm a starch believer in that whole philosophy. In Jim Dance Moore's philosophy, he's complicit. I done told you he's complicit in this whole thing, right? But I honestly believe him, being a numbers guy, would say there's nothing wrong with old IPs making money, new money in other areas.
So it would be like the same concept they have with the PC market. Let's put it on there because it doesn't directly affect us because it's already ran its course, but they can get money off of it in the long run due to it being in Game Pass.
Yes.
And
I mean,
I just don't see it. Like, I'll be real with you. Like,
what are you holding on to? You're not using it anyway.
I get
That's
that.
Like somebody comes
but
to
putting it on PC and putting it on Xbox Game Pass is a different variety. Because if you put it on Game Pass, you have to put it on Xbox. So you think that they will put God of War on Xbox just to make a little money off Game Pass?
Yeah. Okay, all right. Let me give you a scenario. Let's say you and this bitter rival of yours lives across the street, right? And you have a TurboGrafx in your house. You don't use it. You don't play it. You don't use it. It's ran its course. It's did whatever it's gonna do. Somebody has its attention.
Yeah. Sorry, my brother. Right. He knows I'll be in here doing this, and he comes in here at the exact time.
It runs its course, right? You already played the TurboGrafx as much as you play it, and your bitter rival across the street comes over and say, "Hey."
Yeah, I definitely.
I'm gonna kill Zach.
I know, that's what I'm telling him. I'm literally waving him away, and he's still right there. I'm gonna start locking my door. But
so all right, your bitter rival comes over and says, "Yo, let me borrow your TurboGrafx, and I give you $500 just to hold it for a week."
Okay. Borrowing TurboGrafx to hold it for a week, but that's different.
It's your bitter rival.
But that's a hardware thing. Like, I just don't see them like. When it comes to the exclusivity stuff, like, they might hold strong with that, but I don't see them publishing. You're saying he's complicit, so he gonna do it.
Complicit. Like, yo, why make your studios? Why make a Sony Studios? Why become a third party publisher? Why?
Why are you saying why not? Or you
why? They did already. They are. So why?
Well, I don't know. I don't have the answers, King.
I'm giving you the answer. I'm telling you, you're prepping the what is it? The landing field. You know how they clean the landing field so there's no rubble on the floor.
If you feel like this were to happen, what kind of time frame would you put it on?
As soon as they see the residuals from this, yo, I'm gonna tell you right now. Here's a scenario. Let's say MLB The Show sells 1 million copies on the PlayStation platform. 1 million right now. And let's say it sells 4 or 5 million on the Xbox platform. What are you going to tell your board? That's a more viable a place to sell stuff, right? So they're gonna say, why aren't we over there now? Why are we not getting money from them? What is this imaginary boundaries that we're holding ourselves captive to?
But wouldn't it be safe to assume that because they have this stance on they're trying to be a little bit more old-fashioned than Microsoft, that it would be Microsoft to do that before Sony?
Nah. Listen, Microsoft is already doing it. Like if you got Doom on your PlayStation and it's in the PlayStation store right now, if you got Doom, you got Wolfenstein that's inside the PlayStation store right now, and you went and you purchased it right now, that's a Microsoft product. Okay, you playing Minecraft right now on your PlayStation, that's a Microsoft product. Okay, I don't care how you want to slice it, how you want to look at it. You're putting money in Microsoft's pocket, regardless to what. It's already being done. So these imaginary barriers that people are putting up, yeah, you can't play Halo over there, but it's not a viable area. If it was a viable area for them to make money, because Sony's not making money.
So if they're making money,
listen, they're not making money how you think if every time you're looking at is bankruptcy. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, so you're saying that they're making money in the gaming industry. It's just not enough to keep the entire company afloat.
Right. And there's ways for them to make money hand over fist.
I agree with you on that. Microsoft, they're in more things, but the difference is they're profitable in other things. So,
and listen, let me tell you this, right? You know why I think the fear of them allowing their game on another console, they will never do that. Like, this is their fear. They have an inferior product towards the competitor's product. And if you was to put that game, because MLB The Show is going to show you right now when Digital Foundry comes out and it'll be like, oh, it's running in 4K native, 60 frames per second on the Xbox, but on the PlayStation, it's running in checkerboard 1880p, right? You have a superior product that's over here. That's the only thing that I can see, because then you can directly compare what it is. And then somebody will say, well, I don't need to have a PlayStation. Let me just buy an Xbox and I can play my PlayStation games over here because it looks better.
So let's get these super chats, because one of these super chats is good and I think you'll enjoy what he's saying. And I can kind of agree with this to a point. Seleucius Octavius, I definitely butchered your name. We're going to move right past on to that. Shout out for the $2 super chat. Hit that like button, people. Then Keo Walker said, for the $5 super chat, even if Jim says no to Xbox console, he may say yes to Game Pass for PC and Xbox cloud gaming. I could actually see a scenario where that could actually work out for Sony, because that's not directly on their platform. So I don't think that would still happen, but that is the one I could see happening the most.
Well, because think about it this way: you don't notice how everybody's always pissed off how the PC and Xbox Game Pass is like really different. Mm-hmm. Like some of the games aren't there, and some of the games are, and it's like why that's not there, and why they not the same thing. And I can see that scenario being true. Well, I will allow it on the PC Game Pass, and you can do it on cloud gaming, but I won't allow it on the console Game Pass. Okay, we'll take that.
Yeah, and I could see Microsoft like, well, we're here, sign here, like sign this one here that you won't take this back. Sign this one here that you're sober.
Somebody give him a breathalyzer.
We're not giving them any room to get out of this in the long run. All right, so we got a $5 super chat from K Esteneda. I definitely butchered your name too. You guys know this. We're gonna move on. Salute, gents. MLB plays great even on the iOS Game Pass on browser. By the way, I watched Xbox Game Stack and suspiciously Switch was in multiple sessions. Something's up. That is a good point. We can talk about that briefly. Look, in your educated king guess, we're going to call it the educated king guess, what is Microsoft and Switch doing?
I would have said that they were going to do the servers, right? And I really honestly believe that they're working with them for the cloud gaming infrastructure. I felt that Nintendo would have worked with NVIDIA because the NVIDIA Shield is so close to the Switch that it kind of mirrors it in a way, and they already have that NVIDIA Go and that situation going on there. But I think the fact that Microsoft is the Azure cloud system is all over the world allows them a little bit more flexibility. So it's a difference between them going with Amazon and going with Microsoft. I and Phil said this before that he would, help PlayStation and help Nintendo. And when you ask like how would he help them, he would be helping them with the cloud infrastructure like he did with Sony. So I believe it is something in akin with Sony, the same thing with Nintendo. I don't think it's as much to do as everyone thinks it is. Everyone wants it to be, Mario be running around on the Xbox. Now, if something like that happens, I don't know. I think that would rock the industry, to be honest with you.
What happens if it's not a Game Pass scenario, but it's like we're gonna bring the same game chat and stuff that's on Xbox to Switch because clearly they're lacking there.
But what is Microsoft getting in a situation?
Money, because I'm sure there's some kind of form of currency being switched between them for this.
Money is not going to. That's not the smell test. If it's a big deal, then we got to get something out of this deal that is how can I say, it's not visually pleasing. It has to pass the smell test. It has to show. So if it looks right, then fine. If it looks like we're both equally winning here, then we can do the deal. But if it looks like only you're benefiting from this deal, because trust me, if Microsoft was to help them with their chat and all that other stuff, Nintendo's actually getting a leg up. And if Nintendo's the market leader, why I'm going to help you more? So I got to get something out of this deal. Something has to happen.
Yeah, so some type of some kind of benefit on Microsoft that's not currency, because they got the currency.
It's not. It's
Obviously,
not about the money.
they'll probably get some form of cash payment, but the biggest thing that they're going to want is some form of industry hold that they can leverage in the industry that only Nintendo can give them.
Yeah, because like if it's a partnership, then it has to look good. Like when you show, like Bethesda, when they brought ZeniMax, you see all the commercials now. We're a family. We're a team. We're doing this together. We're brothers. So it's different, So, and we all know Microsoft owns them entirely. So technically, it's not like that. And I think that'll go away after at least 5 or 6 years. That whole we're brothers and no. It's actually Microsoft, and you're just making Xbox games. So honestly, it's in the beginning. It just has to look different. It has to pass that test. So,
all right. So we're going to rail back a little bit. I appreciate the nice, because I do curious on what the Switch is doing. I think we'll find that out a little bit quicker later on this year. But let's talk about it, King. Finally, Sony's came out and they said we bend the knee to Microsoft. We know that they backwards compatibility is making everything lit, and we can't shut down the PS3 and the PS Vita stores. Did you see this coming?
No.
You thought they were just going to keep it?
No, I thought I thought Jim Dantzman was Ryan is tone deaf, and I think this is above his pay grade to make this call. I think they didn't like all the negative press that's going around because Sony is used to being the darling. Sony is used to doing whatever, and everyone's still looking and turning the other cheek. Actually, right now, people are questioning every and anything that they're doing. And they're pointing out all the little blemishes and flaws and all the stuff that's going wrong with Sony. And they're actually questioning what the hell is going on with Sony. So this is for the first time in Sony's history, they're being questioned and they're being scrutinized and they're being poked at and punched at. And I don't really think they like it. I really don't think they like being the ugly little stepchild and something's wrong with them. So at this point, I think that they had a plan I thought the plan was going to be to roll out something in a package that would have made PlayStation Now a little bit more pleasing, and it would turn it into a Game Pass type scenario where they can have like 300 of their IPs available for download and play inside the service, and they can restructure it.
I don't think that. And let me explain to you why I don't think that. I feel like if there was a scenario like that where they were going to bring these back in some kind of form, I feel like they would have told you just to stop the bleeding. Like, look, we know that we're getting rid of the PS3 and PS Vita, but we have a solution coming down the road. Just bear with us. Maybe they give some kind of generic video on YouTube and then just keep it going. Like, I feel like them pushing back and rotating it, kind of like what Microsoft did earlier this year at the Xbox Gold. I feel like that was stating, we were literally going to shut these down off you because they cost us money. We ain't making money off them. But you guys attacked us too much on Twitter, so we gonna turn that right back around. That never happened. That's just my opinion.
Okay, I can tell you this. Let's say this, right? Let's say the PlayStations was in plenty of supply. Let's say that MLB The Show was never on Game Pass. Let's say the SSD solution, the memory solution was actually working, and they actually had games in the wild. This little thing, they would have been closing down those stores. They would have kept going because there wouldn't have been anything for anybody to say. But the fact that everybody's pointing the finger at Sony, we just don't need any more bad press. So this is one of the things that we can do is just leave the damn stores up.
Because they're like, look, like, leave the stores up till God of War comes out. Leave
the
stores
and then
up
drop
till Horizon comes down. It's like, we'll do it the same day. People won't even notice.
They wouldn't care.
They care now because we have nothing to show.
Exactly. Like, you don't even have any games. How are you going to take more away from us? This is true. When God of War comes out, then kill it. Like,
they'll be like, he's kind of right there, man. Let's kick it. How much would it cost to keep it up till God of War? Oh, you don't know when God of War is coming out? What's an estimate? Someone tell me. I need to know. Like,
2023, sir.
Okay, how much would it cost to go? We'll say 2024 just to be on the safe side.
Next console, sir.
They go a whole generation with no games. Come on, kid.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen.
All right, so, that's how much I really have to think about that. I feel like in terms of Sony, they try to pull a fast one on people, and they got the backlash. And for the once, I seen a lot of... Because I don't personally feel like there's a media bias. I feel like there's a clickbait. And the media is always going to the direction that they can get the most money out of. So if the scenario is attacking PlayStation, they're going to make the articles about PlayStation. If the scenario is attacking Xbox, they're going to make the articles about Xbox. All they care about is their bottom line, and they'll make that title whatever they can to bring in the people to make that bottom line.
I think, honestly, I've watched the narrative change, but not completely. I will die on this hill. I believe that they're used to being the media darling. They're used to getting carte blanche to go here and to go there and do whatever they choose because they literally have no back compat solution. And they told you, like, it's whatever. They don't have to tell you when games are coming out. They don't have to tell you what's going on. They're not transparent at all, and they feel that they've built this cachet that they can do whatever they want to do. They had the same scenario, the same big-headedness when they had the PlayStation 3 come out, and they were telling people you got to get a second job and all this other stuff. People really need to remember, this is revisionist history, but people need to really remember that Sony was coming in on a wave from the PlayStation 2, and the PlayStation 2 was such a huge success. I mean, 1 to 2, it was amazing. 2 totally blew out 1 for me, and going into 3, I was already on board. I really didn't care, and I feel the same thing's happening here. The PlayStation 4 is really outstanding. It was a great system for a lot of customers, not for myself, but riding that Ghost of Tsushima, riding that Last of Us 2, riding those games going into this riding Spider-Man, God of War, riding these games going into the next generation, they got big-headed. And you can tell, you can tell by the console.
I think you could just tell by our shout out to our, when we did when we were talking about whether or not the Metacritic score on ILP is like, we had a dev that used to work for Sony that said that the longer he worked there, the more they pushed up the concepts and what exactly they wanted in terms of Metacritic score. It just kept getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
So now it's probably they are like, look, like, sir, these games are making money, but are they helping the narrative? No. Days Gone made money, but it did not help our narrative, so get that up out of here.
The developer told you that it didn't. The developer from Days Gone told you that if you wanted a sequel, you should have purchased the game at full price, from the beginning. A lot of these dudes brought Days Gone half price, or when it was in a bargain bin, or when it was buy one get one free day
or with Target, the PlayStation collection.
Yeah, so it didn't make, quote unquote, full price. But if you had a solution, and this is where I got to say the genius of Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer comes into play. Any game that's inside Game Pass is new engagement, type of thing. And while you're in Game Pass, you're going to purchase games. I've purchased, I think, more digital games than I've done physically, because it's the click thing. It's the same thing with Amazon in your hand. You have Amazon in your hand. You want something, you click it, you get it, you're done. You deal with the problem later when you have to pay for it. And this is the same scenario all over again. And people are not getting it. They're not understanding it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Do you personally feel like that Sony's preference when it comes to canceling games like Days Gone, not canceling them, but not letting them do a sequel, is because of the Metacritic score? Or do you think it was a multiple things and Metacritic score was just one of them?
I think they're at a point where financially they can't miss.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're too scared. Yeah, they're too scared to not invest something that's not going to be a banger, and they're scared that if this game ends up, because it took them like 6 years to make the first one. Yeah. So they're like, they might make it quicker, but what's quicker? 4 years?
Well, if they make the game in 3 years, right? Because once you already have the technology down pat, you can refine the technology and scale it up, to whatever the current stats are on the PlayStation 5 opposed to the PlayStation 4 Pro or the base, right? And these guys were ready to go. They had multiplayer. They had all these stuff thought out. Shout out to Hip Hop Gamer, because he did the interview with the guys at the developers, and he had all the information on the sequel. Listen, you had Shaun Layden that was inside the building then when games like this were getting greenlit. Concrete Genie, stuff like that, games that people was taking a fly on, Ribbon, a lot of their games that are thoughtful, and you would have never received from Naughty Dog. You would have never received The Last of Us if Jim Dance Rules Ryan was in position, because at that point in time, Naughty Dog was known for what? Making Uncharted, the banger. Right? So when you pitch The Last of Us, I don't get that. That's not going to work.
And plus, in the long run, he's scared to not. He's like, he did whatever he could to get. I'm convinced he got Shaun pushed out. So he's sitting there. Let's say he didn't get Shaun pushed out. He's like, he's obsessed with Shaun not being right. So he's like, if I invest into this game and it flops, it's going to bring down my estimates for that, that quarter, and then Shaun's going to be right. There's a lot of, I feel like there is a lot of competition going on with these executives, especially present past executives. But my last question with that is the individual that David Joffrey interviewed. He said that if you want the studio to succeed and make sequels, buy their game at full price. He didn't really give any kind of incentive to like any conditions. He was just pretty much like blind buy the game. Don't look at reviews, just buy it. And I don't think he really meant this, but we have to go off what he said. Do you agree that you should just blind buy stuff without any research just because you kind of like that studio?
Okay, the hell with that, right? I'm already spoiled by Game Pass. I'm spoiled by Netflix. I'm spoiled by Amazon Prime. I'm spoiled by any services that I have. I'm spoiled by Hulu. I don't even want to go to the movie theaters, guys, because HBO Max has got me spoiled. Let's just keep it a buck, All right, when you're able to get this level of convenience right now, I just ordered. I got down to a food service, right? That's prepping my food for me, organic, wholesome food prep that will be dropped off at my door every Friday for the whole week. And it's got to the point where convenience is what our life has turned into. You know, if it wasn't, then we'll all be walking to work instead of driving to work. It is the level of convenience. So when you tell me to blindly go purchase your product where somebody else is giving me the convenience of trying, there would have never been demos out back in the days. But Game Pass is the ultimate demo because you have the whole game. You understand? So if you don't believe in your product should be in a place where you're able to touch it, play it, purchase it, and if you like it. Now, I understand what he's saying. For you to get greenlit, you should be purchasing the game at full price. That's from where he's working from. You understand? That environment doesn't have something like a Game Pass where games can go to live and grow over time. His game has to sell for it to be a success at full price in Sony's hierarchy for them to get greenlit for the second game. And I believe developers should not be working under those conditions, because then that forces a different narrative on them. Because if they don't make those first week sales, those first month sales, those first quarter sales, then they're sitting there afraid that they're never going to make another sequel to their beloved game. So I think that's a terrible place to work, to be honest with you. And it doesn't work well.
Let's take it back. Shout out to us. Definitely, if you guys haven't looked, we just interviewed Obsidian. We did it Sunday, so definitely go out there and check that out. There's a fantastic interview. You know, shout out to KingDavid for doing all the prep work for that. You know, in that interview, they said, look, like, we're not the same Obsidian that we was, because now we're stable. We don't have to constantly work on a project. And imagine how mentally exhausting that is. Like,
you know who else said that? Ninja Theory. Remember that?
They did say
They said the same exact thing. I mean, not to cut you, but literally everybody thought Ninja Theory was propped up and like they was told what to say. But if another developer says the same exact thing, at what point in time do you believe it to be true? It has to be true.
And I definitely 100% agree with that. I feel like if you really want devs to be full and to be the best they can, it's got to be in an environment where they're not scared in a year and a half. The job security is horrible. Like, in probably the majority of this industry. Like, unless you're a Naughty Dog 343 or Coalition or Saint Monica, you probably do every project thinking this is probably the last project we're ever going to do. And that's sad. That really is.
But think about it this way. Sony of Japan. Remember when Sony Japan was the crown jewel in Sony's development houses? Mm-hmm. And they didn't churn out a winner in a minute or whatever they consider to be a banger, but for that to close down, like that, could you imagine if Microsoft was to tell you that the Coalition is done?
Yeah, it would be serious. I think it's serious. That I know a lot of people don't really like what Sony Japan was doing, but like they did a lot. They helped with Bloodborne. Like, that's a studio that should not have been shut down.
In my opinion, if Shaun Layden was still there, that none of this stuff happens.
So you think he did it for financial reasons? Like, look, you're not delivering what I feel like a studio should be delivered in terms of profit. So you got to get up out of here. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think he's doing and the same thing that the Days Gone developer expressed. You don't buy games day one, you're not gonna get a sequel.
I definitely can see that.
Yeah.
So, talking about studios, obviously we know Microsoft. They own a bunch of studios, a bunch of teams in the 26. Studios. 26. You're still
23, 26.
You're just like, let's a ball game. It's anywhere between that. All right,
man, I'm gonna tell you something.
So,
okay. Wait a second. Okay, time out. We joke, but Sony had a hidden studio that was making games on the side, and nobody knew about them. Right?
Yeah,
right or wrong?
Point there. You do have a point
okay,
there.
Thank you. So why can't Microsoft have 3 shadow studios? Excuse me. Let's go.
And then plus, I think people fail to realize that a lot of these studios have multiple teams too.
Yep.
Like a lot of them, majority of them. So, in all sense, you see 23 studios. It's probably like, in all sense, like 35 to 40 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all working on different projects, regardless if it's AAA, AA. I don't like the AAA, AA argument because I feel like, when it comes to games, it's games. It's like, it's a good game. Some of the best games I've played has been indie games. Some of the best games I've played have been AAA games. The good game is a good game regardless. I lived and breathed and died Star Renegade. Shout out to King because he's the one that told me about that game. But, I played that game like crazy. Right now I'm playing Octopath Traveler. So, like, to me, I want games that are good regardless what kind of scenario they're in, because I feel like a lot of the indie developers, they don't have as much shackles on them as AAA publishers. But, we're going into E3, King. Obviously, we got, like, a little bit less than a month and a half up until E3. Now, what I want from you is what is your wants at E3 on Sony and Microsoft? What is the something? I want that, and then I'm gonna ask you something after that. That's gonna be a quick thing because I want your opinion on that. So right now, let's start with Microsoft. Start with Sony. What is your wants for Sony?
Give me the concrete release dates on some of the games. To release the SSD expansion point for the gamers. That's about it. Games and that SSD drive. Just that's all. I don't really want much from them because right now they wouldn't offer anything to me but bangers. Okay. You know what they can do for me? They can get PlayStation Now and do date and date. I can't say that because I know it's unrealistic. I know me saying these things, it's unrealistic. So I'm gonna give you realistic scenarios. I want the expansion drive to actually take a SSD, and I want to get a concrete listing of games for the year. That's about it.
So you don't want no type of gameplay or anything like that? You just want realistic?
No, I think they're going to show a sizzle reel. I think they're going to show some games. I honestly believe they're going to show you again. They're going to show you, because around that time, you're going to have Ratchet and Clank. I believe they're going to give you some more Gran Turismo. They're going to show you probably a sizzle reel of God of War and of Alloy and Horizon Zero, and maybe you may get some concept art of the new Last of Us remix. So yeah.
So you think that might be there?
No, just concept art. No, okay. Just like how Ninja Theory did that thing, like that weird spot where they was in wherever they was in Ireland or something, and it was showing you what they were talking about. So I think they might do something like that.
Yeah. All right, so here's what I have to say to you, King. Let's say Jim Dance Move Ryan's is done. He's seeing King talking that preach every week. He comes to you. He's like, King, what do we got to do? What are you telling Jim Ryan to do with the Sony console?
Oh, if he wants to win.
If he wants to win.
If he wants to win, he has the best. He has the better IPs than Microsoft.
That he does.
Yeah, he does.
For now.
Well, at this moment, he has the better proven IPs. Period.
Yes.
So in having that, okay, so we release all our PlayStation Now, all our IPs in PlayStation Now. All our future releases will be date and date. They're not gonna walk back to $70 price. So excuse me. They're not gonna walk back to $70 price. They're gonna keep that $70 price. Just make sure that your games are date and date. Make sure that you get these services out, because you're doing it with the PlayStation Now monthly games, and they're far superior to Xbox Gold games.
Yeah, it's so much better. It's become a laughingstock, to be honest.
Yeah, but Xbox Gold, I think Microsoft purposely makes Xbox games with gold crap.
I feel like at this point, like it's like they're buying the Xbox Gold games with like the slush fund money. Like, we were gonna spend this much money on alcohol next year. All right, let's buy these games, because I feel like their prime focus is Game Pass, and if they can get a really good game for Game Pass, they would rather come to Game Pass than not Games with Gold. Why would you put it
inside Games with Gold? Makes no sense.
So, question is, do you think Games with Gold should go away?
I think Games of Gold should have been rolled inside Game Pass a long time ago and just remove Games of Gold. Make Xbox Live basically free. You know, they already did that. The multiplayer, they removed the barriers. It's really no need. It's redundant.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So this is what I want. This is what I think from Sony. I think they're probably going to go out there, show some games that are a little bit closer, like Gran Turismo. I think they'll probably, because I don't think Horizon's coming out this year. I think it's been pushed back. So I think they're going to show gameplay of Horizon, and I don't think I think they'll show a CGI scene of God of War. I don't think they're showing gameplay of God of War. I think gameplay's next year of God of War.
Vertical slice.
And I think they'll show some indies, and I think they'll end it with like a brand new IP from like a studio that's been working on a game.
Oh, and they're probably going to show a lot of that Square Enix game.
Yeah, that is a good point. They have Square Enix unless Microsoft buys them.
Well, even if they do, they still can show that game.
I think if they bought them, I don't think it would be on their stage.
I think it will, because that's a game that they purchased. That's a game that's inside stable. That's a game that's launching.
But did you notice, like, when Microsoft bought Bethesda, they like slowed down on the promotion of Deathloop and stuff?
Well, they knew it wasn't coming out right now.
So now, if Dan Smooth Ryan came up to me, he's like, "Addict, what do you need? What do you think we should do to combat Game Pass?" I feel like you need to, first off, you need to double down on your studios, and not necessarily buying studios, but the internal studios. You know, you need to let these people be working on 2, maybe even 3 games at the same time. So you're going to have to really double down on the studio size, because you're making the best games. You have the best talent. You might as well rotate between that talent.
Right.
I think that's their best bet. Now, I do think they need to buy studios. If they had the money to... Because here's the thing. People think they don't have the money to buy someone like Square Enix. They do. But the thing is it's harder to convince a board to put in probably 40-50% of your money that you got lying around into buying a studio, into a publisher.
They don't have the money. They would have to take a loan and put assets against that loan. And then I'm pretty sure the board would be like, nah.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Don't you have stuff that we can buy? Aren't there games that we can get without going out, broke?
I feel like Microsoft. I feel like Sony needs to go out and get Blue Point. They need to get Remedy, because I feel like Remedy is such a good line of the games that they already make that it wouldn't be hard to really adjust and formate that company into, let's splash the Last of Us template in there.
Who's the team? Who's the developer that did the remix of The Last Guardian?
I don't know. Someone in the chat say it while I look it up in case they Last Guardian.
Yeah.
I think that The Last Guardian was developed by Team Ico Japan Studios.
Wow.
So they don't even have that anymore. Wow. I think right now you let Naughty Dog work on 2 games. I wouldn't let Naughty Dog work on more than 2, because if you start...
Who's the one that did the Shadow of Colossus remake?
That was Blue Point.
Blue Point, right?
Yes. That I think they should buy Blue Point.
I thought they owned them.
No, it's a second party studio.
Wow. Because, okay, to the best of my knowledge, they're doing something for them.
Yeah, I think they need to buy them. They need to buy Remedy, because I honestly feel like Microsoft buys Remedy, I don't think it's going to do too much, because they don't really have much chemistry together. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if Sony bought Remedy, they could really capitalize on what Remedy does, because, Remedy's literally just like a toss of a... Huh?
I'm not a huge fan of Remedy.
That's what I mean. Remedy's literally like a coin flip away from being a Last of Us template. Like, it really is.
I thought that the Alan Wake IP is a real good IP. I think the Control IP is a good IP. If they would have had the financial backing that Quantum Break did, I think Control would have been 10 times better as far as story narrative going and everything like that, because there was a lot of broken parts to that game. I think Quantum Break is an infinitely better game story-wise, but I feel like I said before, the control of the game and Control is better, so that's why they called it Control, I think. But Remedy, under the best conditions, can produce A quality stuff. And I think that works well with Sony, like you were saying, because the third person, over the shoulder, story driven Sony
That's what
product.
I'm saying, man. That's literally they're screaming, "Buy us, Sony! We want to be owned!" Like, I feel like when it comes to that, I feel like they're a good fit. And Blue Point, Remedy, chat, put in the chat what studios you feel like Sony should buy. So that's what I feel like to do. So let's go and go with Microsoft so we can wrap this up, because I know you're tired. So let's talk about Xbox. First off, let's see. I believe that I personally think that their conference is going to be the 13th.
Right.
That's
usually is that Sunday.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be crazy if they do Sunday. We might have to push IOP back that day.
We can just do it that night.
That's what I meant. We have to push it back that day. Like that way we could talk. We could talk about whatever's going on.
I'll take some pre-workout.
So let's talk about E3 this year.
Right.
What is something that you want from Microsoft? What is an announcement, or maybe a couple announcements? What is the announcements that KingDavid, is looking forward to on E3 stage this year?
Okay, so the stuff that I don't know, the stuff that I will hope for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's not snitch and turtle secrets. Okay.
I would love for Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer to be out on stage, and you to hear a coin go off, pling, and somebody in a Sonic costume comes running out, and they purchase Sega, and
the bigger question is, King, if Phil called you and asked you to be the Sonic, would you do?
I will dress up as Sonic. If they purchase Sonic, I will dress up in a Sonic suit with my face out. Oh, definitely, it will be crazy.
You know how like Phil just shows up randomly around the stage when he does the E3 conferences, like in that middle part that he always likes doing. It's just like the screen goes dark, it patters around, you hear a coin flip, and you just see you running down the middle aisle
in a Sonic suit.
What they do is they put big quarters on the ground, and you reach down and pick all of them up.
I'm not picking up anything. I'm just gonna run to the stage. They better have holographic coins. But that.
King was like, "You're going too far, man. You're going too far."
I like to see Halo Infinite make its triumphant return, and on the screen. I think they're gonna have a sizzle reel. You know how they always do. They always have like 100 games that they show that's here, that's coming. So, what I just want more games. They're really hitting it out of the park right now. So I just want more games. I mean, to be honest with you, these stuff, the pie in the sky stuff, I know a lot of stuff is happening. I would like for them to say Ubisoft is inside Game Pass, so I can actually play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So because I don't want to go spend the money for it.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I think for me.
Oh, the new Elite.
Oh, the Elite version 3? You want that?
Yeah, the one that actually works with the Series X and Series S.
Now, what about these rumors going off Kojima? Do you want Kojima to pop up on that stage?
I honestly think he's going to be there. That's why I didn't say that.
Well, I mean, it's out there everywhere now. So,
yeah. Well, I honestly think he's going to be there. So I honestly believe my scenario, like I said, and with the game that he's going to do is going to blow your socks off. I actually believe that he's going to get the Metal Gear IP, and they're going to do that. And it is going to be what it is. I honestly believe that they're going to shut down E3. But in what I want to see, I would love to see Sonic running down the aisles. You just gave me a vision of the Ultimate Warrior running down the aisle in a Sonic suit, shaking the ropes. Hell yeah, I'm down for all of that. You best believe it. But I would love for them to purchase another publisher, and I believe that publishing house is Sega, and I think that fits that niche that they're looking for, because Sega has a ton of IPs, Jet Set Radio, what is that? Fantasy Star, and they can actually do the real RPGs. You know, it's a lot of stuff that they can actually do. You know, besides Sonic, they can give us a lot of those games like Crazy Taxi. You know, it's a lot of stuff they can do. I'm down for all of that stuff from Sega.
Yeah, that's what's up. So now let's say if you had one thing to go in there and change one thing that is going on with Microsoft, what would it be?
One thing inside Microsoft
it could be maybe the direction of a studio, or maybe there's a game going over there you don't think is going to be that hot.
One thing that if I can just go in there and fix it and just switch it around, I would take Bungie and put them ahead of Halo Infinite. And I don't care how controversial that may sound to a lot of people. I don't give a damn. But if I can switch stuff around, because I love Destiny's gunplay, I love how Destiny feels. I would honestly just hand it over to Bungie and tell Bungie, let's get busy. Let's just really take this. Let's finish this fight, and that's what I'll do. I honestly believe if I can do it. Not saying that 343 is a bad studio. Not saying anything like that, but I don't really have too much problems with Microsoft as far as their direction and where they're going. But if I can switch one thing, it'll be that.
All right, so let me speak my talk real quick. I personally, at this E3, I want it to focus on gameplay of games that we currently have been announced.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there are some studios that have not been announced. I'm pretty sure Compulsion's new game hasn't been announced. There's a couple second teams of current studios that haven't been announced. I want to see gameplay of Hellblade. I want to see gameplay. I don't think Fable is a realm of possibility. I'm never going to see that, but I want an in-depth gameplay of Halo.
Right.
And I want to see it single player and multiplayer. It could even be scissor rail at this point. You know what I'm saying? But I would like a gameplay presentation of Halo. Even if it's one of those things where they have to do it the next day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like where they come up there, they just show you a little bit of thing. They're like, tomorrow we're going to break this down more. You're going to see a little bit more. Just go to the Twitch channel or whatever. Or you can come over to IOP Xbox. You know, we just saying that. We just throwing that out there. It's just, I want to see that. I feel like now in terms of Bethesda, the question I have for myself is, if they're going to be two or one show. I think they're going to be two shows. I think Halo's ending. I don't know. Halo might start the Xbox show. I don't think it's going to end it. And I think they'll probably end the Xbox show with some game that hasn't been announced yet.
I will get to my predictions like that week before and what I believe they're going to start and end with. Because right now we're too far out, and I can't. It's just too far out for me.
And I think that the Bethesda one, I think they'll start that with Wolfenstein, and they'll end that with Starfield. Question to you, King: Starfield come out this year or next year?
Yeah, this year.
This year.
November.
I think it's a pretty good chance. I think it's a really good chance.
Yeah, I think it's November.
And you know, I feel like this year
Halo is September, October.
Oh, you think it's that early?
Yep. I think because Game Pass changes when you launch and how you launch. So to get to get your back to school money, I believe they'll get you in September. And remember, Bungie is in the building doing something, so we won't have Destiny dropping in September this year. So you might have an update or something like that.
Here's my question: you think Gears shows up at E3 this year?
No.
I think that's at E3 next year.
Yeah.
And the reason I think that is because I think Gears is probably be ready to come out next year. But now since they have all these studios, they have Bethesda, now we're going to have scenarios where they have to push stuff back that's full-blown ready because they have too much stuff coming out as it is.
Yeah. They have to space it. They have to have those 2 to 3 month gaps between heavy hitting games so they can have enough time to breathe inside Game Pass and, to keep that reoccurring dollar up, because let's say this, and I've noticed this should be the cadence. And I don't like to do the AAA thing, but AAA titles drop in Game Pass 2 times a year. In between those spaces, because they're 6 months apart, and in between those spaces, you have 2 to 3 AA, and single A, you have probably 4 single A within the year. So you space out the year that way, and single A, quote unquote, because what's that game that everybody's talking about? That the game was that was on Switch, like Zeus. What was that?
Hades.
Hades, right?
I think that might show up at E3 on Microsoft stage.
Yeah, but that game was like a indie game. You understand? Mm-hmm. So some people will look at that game as a single A game. So those games like that would be prevalent inside Game Pass. So they have to sprinkle it out in order to give Game Pass longevity and not overwork the studios, to be honest with you.
Yeah, shout out to the 220 people in the chat, man. Appreciate you guys for coming through. You definitely want to be present for IOP Sunday. It's gonna be crazy. We have a good guest for you guys. We have good topics. It looks like you're definitely not gonna want to miss that. Hit that like button, man. Let's get those likes above 100 before the end of the show. But that's pretty much all for the show, man. We definitely E3. I'm pretty sure that we're going to do our
prediction.
Our prediction, our E3 prediction shows. I'm pretty sure those are coming back. So definitely be looking out for that. We are scouring guests right now. Appreciate everyone for coming through. King, where can they find you besides on Twitter making people look like a fool?
Well, the video's coming for MLB The Show. Have to go down my beard first. And you can catch me on, like I said, on Twitter. That's about it right now. What is it? Dolph Castle X, Fridays, 9 p.m. Definitely going to love this week. This week we're going to, somebody posted Lara Croft Tomb Raider retro statue, and that statue looks nice. So we're going to go in depth about that statue. A lot of other statues that's coming out. I got some statues coming in, so I got to do an unboxing, and I got to finish up this one. I was having a problem with my my GoPro, and actually fix it. The new software on the GoPro, I had to wait for an update, had to do a whole bunch of stuff. So KOS is coming. Attic helps out with that, so that stuff will be up, so you can check that out soon. That'll be with that Green Goblin. That's why the GoPro's right there.
That Green Goblin looked pretty lit, man. I ain't gonna lie. That Green Goblin, man. If you guys, I have your screen up. If you guys want to see that Green Goblin, definitely be on the lookout for that KOS statue, man. King gonna break that. King teaches me more about the Marvel Universe than Marvel teaches me. So, I definitely, appreciate King taking the time out of his day to come on here. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Like I said, you definitely want to be here for IOP Sunday. Don't miss it. You're going to regret it if you ain't. So until IOP, we'll see you guys later. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to try to do these Addict shows every Tuesday with a different guest. I don't like having more than 3 people because I like keeping this 45 minutes to an hour long. I don't like making the show longer because there's a lot of shows that's already long. And IOP's already almost 3 to 4 hours every week. So I ain't trying to put more of a watch growth on that. I want people, be able to come in here, see a couple people really breaking down a topic, and then we're going to keep it going. Like I said, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be announcing the guest later on this week. I think some of you guys would definitely enjoy the guest. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict in the